Hi everyone, it's Terry. Welcome back to my channel. It's another blustery day out there today. Today's topic is ideas on how to get your book subjects, how to come up with new ideas for a book. I have 8 ideas here, and the very first one is prompts. I use prompts for a lot of writing, especially short stories and stuff. I do a lot of prompt writing. And when I did my very first prompt for a story, I was really stuck and I didn't know what to do. So this is an unusual idea, but what I did is I opened up some of the books around me and I looked at the first line in the book and I tried to envision that with my prompt. And eventually I came up with a story. I didn't write that first line. I didn't use the first line, but I used it as a sort of prompt to help me come up with a story to go with the word I had been given to write about. And I think I wrote a 2-part story using the prompt. I do that with a lot of my prompts. They become longer than 1 week. And I've taken several of them to 2 to 3 months worth of stories. Continuations of the one I'm doing, a continuation. So eventually it builds into a pretty lengthy short story, which you can convert into a book. So that's idea number 1. Number 2 is to use real life situations. I'm writing my memoirs, so of course a lot of things are coming back to my memory from different times in my life. But even before that, on my blog, I would write nonfiction because they were true. They were stories of my life. We had a lot of funny situations. We had some sad situations, but they made some nice short stories for people to read. So I suggest real life, think about your life, think about your family's life, something that went on to even your grandparents could be a possible topic of interest for a story. In my case, one of my stories was written about a family member who was born with 1 kidney. And the story grew, and I had to do research to find out exactly whether, what their chances are of surviving with 1 kidney, which you can survive with anyone, and he's doing fine. And also whether or not it could be regrown, because that fit into the story I was writing. I needed to know. So I don't want to, even though it's a fiction story, I don't want my facts to be wrong. So I have written from real life situations. Another thing is dreams and nightmares. Now, I don't know about some people. I have horrendous nightmares. The versions of nightmares are like a Stephen King book. That's the kind of nightmares I have. And I don't know if it's the medications I take or what that actually causes these horrible, horrible nightmares. So some of them are pretty bad. But they could be used as story ideas, just like Stephen King has been said to write his stories from his nightmares. Another option, number 4, excuse me again, sorry. Number 4 is to use newspapers and magazines. Some of the stories in there that you read can actually give you an idea for a book topic. I've come up a few times with options that would make a good story. So I would definitely look through newspapers and magazines for ideas for a new subject. Number 5 is people watching. Now, I don't use this particular one. It hasn't really worked for me, but I know a lot of people say that by watching people and imagining what their life might be, but by the way they dress or the way they're acting or different things like that, that they can come up with a story idea. So that's another option. Number 6, conversations you have with other people. People tend to ramble on and they tell you stories. And whether they're true or not doesn't matter. If you're writing a piece of fiction, it's an idea. And so would pay more attention to conversations you have with others. Don't tune them out. Another thing is to read a lot of books or short stories, because you can get an idea off of somebody else's work. I mean, obviously you're not going to copy their work, but it can spark an idea for your own piece. And number 8, because I have 8 of them, is to look at a painting or a picture. One of my first stories when I was in high school for creative writing, they gave us a picture. And a lot of my prompts are pictures. And you look at this picture, and then you just let your imagination run freely. And you can come up with some pretty great stories. I mean, I looked at one, and it was a sailing ship. And I came up with a story of a person who stowed away on a ship. So that was a pretty good story, though. But it was a short story. It wasn't a book. But I'm sure that if you worked at it, that idea could be taken into a much longer piece of work. So there's my 8 ideas for book subjects. If you like my channel, be sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell to be notified of my next video. Until then, have a blessed day. Bye-bye.